Good morning and welcome. Right, okay. Everything's functional, which is good. Morning, John. Morning, Stephen. If you want to join me on there, you can. Let's just try out the camera bottom right of your screen, and that should allow you to come on here. Okay, good. And morning, John. I've no sound now. Can you hear me? I can't. John, we can't hear you. You got microphone plugged in, or refresh and come back in. Morning, Simon. Morning, Peter. We're just sort of sorting things out. We can see John. We can't hear you at all. Nope. No matter how. That's possibly right, Simon. No. We can't let read either, John. I think the best. Yes. Okay. Is to go out and come back in. Just wait for John to come back in, and then. But it's good to see everyone here this morning. Morning, Kelvin, and good morning, Peter, Simon, Stephen, and John. And hopefully John will be back in a second, and then we'll get underway. I'm just waiting. Let's get it good, Peter. Danke. Tonight I'm interviewing Angelica on here at 7 o'clock, and no doubt that there will be German spoken there. Okay.
Both against the dollar, which we buy our fuel and
dollars. Good morning, Peter. You are live on air.
Hello! Huh. Hey, look at that fresh face. Look, all shaved and everything.
I appreciate the fact that you got ready before the show, and we're all set to go. And we're just waiting for John. And
okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, yes.
Okie doke. You actually have to specify Firetalk as an exception to the rule. So,
where?
In Chrome settings.
All right, okay. Right, yeah, you've got to set the parameters. Well, yeah, but never mind. Anyway, we're here.
Yep.
Now, the first thing we know. Well, let's get going. On the recording. Morning, everyone, and welcome to Blabbing for Britain, week 36. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Stephen.
And good morning, Peter.
Good morning, everybody.
And it's nice to see everybody here today. This is our new home. After we had a meeting last week, and it's all right. Simon just distracted me. It's not unusual. Right, okay, yeah, I mean we're gonna encounter that. Yeah, that's probably a good idea, and we're going to be 4 of us as we invite Stephen to join us.
Yeah,
looks a bit better now, but
Simon's probably not aware that Peter's up in Scotland, so not necessarily the best internet in the world.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, this morning I've actually got Wi-Fi in here, and I've got one of those home plugs, so I've plugged that in, and I'm actually getting very good internet access here.
All right.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lag.
Yeah, the picture's clear as a bell.
Say that again, Stephen.
The picture is clear. Your picture is good. Yeah. In fact, everybody's picture is good.
Yeah.
Which is Firetalk. Right, okay, now, quick, the first thing I noticed this morning in the news was English heritage are in the news. for the simple reason that they have suggested that jousting should be in the Olympics. Jousting, yeah. What do you think? Is it Olympic sport?
Well, I can tell you something about that because I went to Warwick Castle with my look-alike thing, and I actually sat on a horse, big, they're massive, with the jousting pole and everything. And I'll tell you, it is a heavy pole. That is some doing if you can do that. There is a skill to it, yeah. I think there is a skill. And yeah, you've got horsemanship, you've got your target, you know.
Yeah, certainly a spectacle, isn't it? I mean, when they run jousting tournaments at country fairs and things, it's always an exciting thing to watch.
Is exciting the word for dangerous, though? Because if you do take somebody's head off, isn't that against the Olympic ideal?
But you think they might have to adapt it a bit?
Do a health and safety on it.
A bit like fencing, yeah. So I mean, in fencing, obviously, it's all done electronically now, isn't it? You're not allowed to cut an opponent with your rapier.
True, but I mean, you're talking about a bloody great big horse, a bloody great big pole, and a piece of tin in front of your face to stop being killed.
I think the answer is they'll have to dress them up like the Michelin Man. And then they can bounce, boing, 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 when they fall off the horse.
But it's as near as a gladiator you'll get, because I was watching a Japanese program about that Japanese program where they basically tortured them as part of a game show, and they actually said to the producer, "What's your biggest fear?" He says, "The biggest fear I have with this, that they want death at the end of it for the loser." And people can go and watch that. And that was his biggest fear.
Yeah. I mean, those Japanese game shows. I mean, Clive James used to play them, didn't he? He used to take from them.
Pakistan as well.
His commentary was beyond marvelous.
Takeshi's Castle and other such things.
Yeah,
indeed. Right, what else have we got to talk about this week?
Well, the first question I've got is, why have you changed to Firetalk?
John.
Dwindling audience more than anything. It's being an abandoned ship, I suspect, is the only description for Blab now, I'm afraid. And if you're not already on Blab, you can't get on Blab, so you can't get a new audience.
Wow. Oh, well,
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very difficult to open a new account via Twitter. It's hit and miss, and basically, as John said, if you're holding a show and people have got to log in and they can't log in, then that puts people off. Whereas today, anybody who's got the URL doesn't need to log in. You only need to log in if you want to come on screen or comment. We're back to the stage we were with Lab 6 months ago, where you can just watch as you would any channel.
Welcome to Sir Robert of Ilfracombe. He's just nipped in to say hello.
Oh, right. Well, welcome, Sir Robert. Dost thou joust? No. Okay.
Okay, so that's answered the question. Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, and the other thing is that the quality here is better. We've got about 20 people who've moved their shows here.
Yeah.
In actual fact, earlier this week, I did produce. I'll post it now. A show directory. These are the people who were on Blab, who've moved to Firetalk. Just a minute.
I mean, I used to use Paltalk a long time ago.
Yep, that's it. You're right. It is Paltalk. Paltalk, Firetalk, AVM, all the same outfit.
Very good platform.
Yeah, but that shows everybody who's actually
excuse me
on there. Good morning, Robert. Nice to see you. Do you joust? Is the question today. And if so, will you joust in the Olympics? Right. So if you don't understand what we're on about, check trending on Twitter, which is where today's topics are coming from. I decided today not to go to the BBC site. I've actually gone to Twitter to find out trending topics. I can't. Diane Abbott's trending. Why do we think Diane Abbott's trending? No. Okay. If we can't work out why it's trending, then obviously
she's been having a go at other MPs for the way Corbyn was treated in Prime Minister's question time.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, it's a very strange situation, isn't it?
It's incredibly strange. I pay me £3.80 a month to the Labour Party. I've done Jezza got elected, and I just saw it was actually on Instagram. Eddie Izzard is standing to go onto the Labour NEC National Executive Committee. So I thought, fair enough. So I voted for him, and then saw all this press about the fact that 180,000 people have joined the Labour Party as a 25 quid supporter in the last 48 hours. The Tory Party's got 140,000 members total.
Yeah,
I think the Labour Party's close to 500,000 now. And you think, Christ, that's a lot of people in 48 hours. Lord knows who's going to who they're going to vote for. But I get my chance to vote because I've been there sort of about 10 months in the party.
Yeah.
A few weeks, isn't it? I think that we get to do it. So it's staggering political change in the last month. Absolutely staggering. And what with old Theresa May nipping across to Deutschland to see Pete's mate, Angela Merkel. People are sort of making. There's lots of good reviews for her at the moment, but the way I look at it is she's still a Tory, no matter what goes. So no, we're not getting anything different. It's but you know how much change can there be this year? I mean, 2016 has been the most incredibly bad, good, terrible year. What's left in the next 6 months, 5 months? And also, did you see it in the States? I forget the bloke's name. Ted Cruz refused to endorse old Trumpy boy at the convention, and his wife had to be escorted out the conference centre for fear of harm. It's falling apart. It's falling apart.
Sorry,
I've got to let you know, I'm a card-carrying member of the Tory party. And I'm up here in the northeast of Scotland because I wasn't brought up with Tory values, but I've been brought up since Maggie Thatcher's era, and went out and done my own thing, and it's ex-soldier as well. So we think that way. But I've got to say, the Labour Party is in such a mess, you know, absolute mess. And it's great to see it. Great to see it.
No, it's not. No, it's not. And not as a Labour Party supporter. What we need in Parliament is balance. That's what happened when the Conservatives were restrained by the Lib Dems. We had a reasoned government. The wackier policies just didn't stand a chance because the Lib Dems sort of kept things tighter. But we do need a two-party system, because if you don't have a two-party system, an effective two-party system, what you've then got is a situation where whoever gets into power can do anything they want. Possibly.
That's what you've always got to have an option. Because if it was all that way,
we're doing that for next year. It's just going to get worse for the Labour Party. And
there's an interesting piece going around at the moment that Jess Phillips, the Labour MP for Yardley in Birmingham, has said that if Corbyn wins, she'll resign because she says she can't live under him. Labour will lose the seat if she resigns. There is such a kickback against her in the Yardley area. It will become Lib Dem because John Hemming will get back in. So it'd be quite interesting if she does resign and a by election is called in there, because they'll end up with one less in Parliament.
Here's an interesting one for you. What do you think the fact that we kept the nuclear deterrent?
Complete and utter waste of money.
I think we need it. John?
I'm sitting on the fence. I haven't even thought about it.
Right.
I've seen all the fuss going on. I also saw that there were hardly any MPs in Parliament when it was discussed. So how important is it to our government if hardly anybody bothers to turn up for the discussion?
Because they were scared to put their vote in it. There is a list of MPs of what they voted for.
Yeah.
And those are abstained. And they should be brought to task for that, such an important issue in our lifetime, about keeping that nuclear deterrent. So quite
interestingly, have you noticed Robert's post in the corner about looking forward to a SDP party, a Social Democratic Party?
I remember the first time that happened.
I really do.
Well,
is that a Devon style of thinking? The SDP, isn't that where wasn't the SDP born in the West last time?
David Steele and Shirley Roy and
Shirley Williams.
No, I said David Owen.
Yeah.
Do you remember the puppet thing doing the David Steele and David Owen?
Spitting image.
Spitting image. That was such a terrible thing for the SDP.
Well, in those days, being politically correct wasn't a problem, was it?
No, it's true.
I mean, they couldn't do it these days. I mean, but we can all remember, I'm sure, all the caricatures better. You know, if we see Norman Tebbit, I mean, there's only one picture comes into mind. It's not a real photograph of Norman Tebbit. It's the spitting image puppet.
Yeah.
And the same with Margaret when she was admonishing her cabinet round the table. That was a classic scene.
They'll do what they're told.
The vegetables, so they'll have the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I posted. Yeah. I posted a music chart on Facebook last night for hits of 1971. And there's 20 of them, and I know the lyrics and the tune of about 17 or 18 of them. It's amazing that we can remember things from 45 years ago, yet I have difficulty remembering what I did last week. Carry on.
I was in the 4th year of senior school in 1971, Stephen.
I was.
Well, I've got to go for a few minutes.
Right. Okay, Stephen. Cheers. Catch up soon. This is better. On 3 up now.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't look like Kiroy was here, you know.
No, that's gone. That's gone. That's the improvement this week on Firetalk.
Robert, would you like to join us?
Yeah. Robert's on his phone, but he can still join us, which is brilliant.
I didn't.
Simon? And
Simon? All you do is click the camera in the bottom right-hand corner. Simon, who's Simon Tebbit?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can. All right. Okay. There's no camera, and that's okay.
Mr. Raybold is welcome to join us.
Yeah, indeed. Not that we're pressuring you, Simon, but if you can hear us all. All right.
We're in the back wall.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a website. Just changing topic for a moment. There's a website which I've been using for. What was that? Was that me?
That's Peter's phone.
I'll tell you what it is.
All right. Okay.
Russia has lost its appeal against a ban.
Right.
Field athletes from competing at the Rio Olympics. And good. Now, here's a thing for you. They were liars. Look what they've done to hide the fact that they were training their athletes on dope and having a secret. If they can do that in the Olympics for sport, What are they going to do with nuclear weapons? That's why we need the deterrent. Yeah.
Really? Yep. Indeed. They're not. Russian people are wonderful. The government is a different thing. Yeah, I mean, the sport. We'd like to think that our sportsmen compete totally on their own merits, but they don't.
Passion.
I mean, we find. I mean, Russia is an extreme example, but there is doping in a lot of sports because people want to do better and better. I mean, to a certain extent, they're driven, aren't they?
Yeah, but the problem is that the Russians had the KGB involved, or whatever they're called nowadays. Actually, frozen urine. That's the extent, and God knows what happened before the wall came down and Russia was at these events and they took people and they trained them and they says, that's going to be your job and we're going to get you going and you'll do this, and they were giving them drugs and everything. Not a nation to be trusted as far as I'm concerned.
Indeed. So they will not be at the Olympics, neither will some of our sportsmen because of the Zika virus. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, them puffy golfers, isn't it?
Well,
we're talking about one of the best golfers in the world, Rory McIlroy. But it's sport, John, and
as Redfern said, puffy golfers.
would you put your livelihood at risk? And then maybe they picked it up and later on they said, well, we thought it was going to be okay, but this happened and we're very sorry. Absolutely no way should professional people that earn a living from it go to it.
Well, that's why it's this total freedom of choice, isn't it? You either nobody's being forced to go. You just go if you want to take the risk. I mean, the thing is, we don't know how big the risk is, do we? And it's not for us to say that they should go. It's got to be a personal choice thing. Right. John, do you remember the digital tadpole?
Digital tadpole. I kind of sort of strikes.
He was all pink, wasn't he? Drawn by Simon Elinas.
Oh yes.
Right. Okay.
The swimmer.
Sorry.
Oh, Simon spent quite some time complaining about the number of people who were queuing outside the swimming baths yesterday, where he normally goes for his 30 lengths. Right. Okay. Morning, Colin. Every day, which I applaud.
Just as a matter of now, how can we mute someone? How do you mute someone?
With difficulty.
Or mute yourself? You can't do it the same, can you?
No, we don't have those controls. I mean, anybody watching can mute us all and turn the volume up and down, but there's just one volume control.
Right, so you can't. If I was to put on my kettle from the coffee,
no, I'm afraid that's not true, is it, Stephen?
Sorry, what?
Right, click on a picture of one of us, click no controls, and you can change each individual's volume and mute them.
Right click.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I've got to pull.
No controls.
Right. Okay. Fine. I'm in the control room.
If I was to put on my kettle, how would you not hear it?
We'd hear it exactly as you hear it.
So how could you stop hearing it?
You got pop out while you make a brew and then come back.
All right. Okay. Well, hang on a bit then.
What? Why can't I mute him?
Yeah.
If I right click on Peter, select show controls, I have a mute button.
All right, I'll try it then.
Okay, let's do it, and I'll put my kettle on.
Have you muted him, John?
Yeah, but
I can hear him.
Well, he's muted for me.
Ah, right. Okay, so it's a personal mute rather than a global mute.
Yeah,
okay.
Looks like
I can still hear you, Peter.
Does anybody? You can hear him.
Right. Okay.
Does anybody want to take the place?
Well, there's still a spare one, Peter, so no panic.
So Steve, if you mute me just now, and I'll make
Kelvin,
a coffee.
you can mute people as well as a.
Right. We've got to remember you have superpowers, John.
No, Kelvin can do it as well.
All right. Okay. But you have super. The morning. This show is sponsored by
Cafe Pod.
Right. Okay. That's the advertisement, and that will be in the replay and on YouTube and all around the world.
Espresso compatible.
Yeah.
Yes. I was reading Ricky's message. That's why I went.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And
Well, it's good to have a conversation going on in the side. But back to the digital tadpole, where Peter makes his coffee. Do you remember him? It was drawn by Mr. Alinus.
Yeah.
And that was 7 years ago. Well, he's about to make his world debut on this site. I was approached. I had a chat last night with the two of the guys who run the site out in LA, and they are actually, if you've got a YouTube channel, you can repurpose it on unreal.me. And these guys were looking for information on video chatting. So I spent half an hour talking to them last night. The end result of which is that I'm going to get a t-shirt, which is good because I've got a Threadsy t-shirt and a Blab t-shirt. Threadsy doesn't exist anymore. Blab probably won't. So I've got a t-shirt on the web. But the other thing is that the digital tadpole will be featured on the front page of unreal.me, which is good. All for free. Right. Okay. Hang on. I've got a message.
Hear the train going past? No.
No. We've not. I've not got the train at all.
So the only yeah, I can even mute you, Stephen. So that's quite interesting.
So you can't hear me now. But if you can't hear me, you don't know whether to unmute me.
I unmuted you very quickly and then unmuted you straight away. It's
okay.
I want to mute.
Okay.
He's good. Coffee machine.
Okay. Blessed good morning to Phil, Kelvin, and Ken. Right. Okay. So things are working so far. We don't expect them not to work. That's a good thing about Firetalk. And there's an interesting chat going on the side. Right. Okay. Can we talk cycling, John?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you don't tell me I can't post about cycling like you did.
What? When? Who?
Some more. She was a bit close to the bone, I think. I think you were right, really. She should have got her facts a bit more before she went.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Just my take on that. We have a friend. Well, I'm not going to name her, but we have a friend who posted on Facebook last week.
I already named her.
You did? All right. I'll cut that bit out. Posted on Facebook last week and posted about cycling in Great Britain and 3 observations she made, but she linked it to a post from the BBC site about the death of Chris Boardman's mum. And the cycling world didn't take exception to what she was saying, but they took exception to the fact that she posted a link to Chris Boardman's mum's death. And let's say if I'd have been the person in question, I'd have taken it down. I wouldn't have posted it. To invite and John Robert's joining us to invite people to, well, I think it was just bad taste. That's my take.
I think without knowing whose fault the accident was, it's very difficult to comment. And like you said, I think there was nothing wrong with her post. It's what she linked to that ruined the post.
Morning, Robert.
Good morning.
Welcome.
At this time, they're not even sure whose fault the accident it was.
I think I think you're right, John. I mean, the problem with posting something like that is if Suze had posted cycling observations on her own page, nobody would have seen on her own page, just as text. Nobody would have seen it. But the fact she linked in was the fact of a very sad event to it.
With an appeal for witnesses at the end.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Did you see it, Robert?
No, I didn't actually know. No.
Right. Okay. Right. So we'll move swiftly on from that. Any news from the West Country that we should know about?
There's a bit of mizzle out there.
We start off with the weather.
Yeah, it's quite warm, but yeah, misty, but it should clear later. It's quite interesting. Funny enough, at the moment, because I write two pages of business news for our local newspaper.
Okay, yep.
So I'm asking businesses, forget the arguments around the referendum around Europe. But I started writing for them in 2009 in the middle of the recession. And what was quite interesting was looking at what was happening in the media, what the media were talking about. And the BBC had this big branded recession logo with a down arrow, saying this is the way to go, everybody. And yet talking to businesses, and we've got quite a big manufacturing sector here with, I don't know, up to 20% of the workforce actually in manufacturing. And what was quite interesting was how some of the manufacturers, and a lot of these are globally owned companies, specialists in their field, invested heavily and completely re-engineered their businesses. And now they're in a fantastic shape. But while all this was going on in the media and in politics, there was all this argument about how the world was ending. And so I think it's a similar situation here. Everybody's talking about how the world is ending, but actually, those people running businesses have actually got to make money. They've got to make it work. And so I'm actually talking to businesses who've gone it. I have to say, I usually get a flow of press releases in. I know it's the summer holidays, so things are starting to go quiet, but people have gone silent. And I wonder whether people are actually afraid to talk, because I think there's bullying around, and it doesn't matter what side you're on. I think, and a lot of businesses are concerned about their reputation. So I don't think a lot of them want to say anything. For fear of upsetting someone. And I think that's a terrible thing that's happening, because more than anything, we need to be open now and talk about how we're going to move forward. The world is going to change. That's inevitable. We know that now. And really, if anybody on any side wants us to progress, then, we've actually got to put aside a lot of these boundaries and things and say, well, actually, let's be grown up. And make it work. And if whatever was wrong is wrong, let's try and...
There's an interesting thing this morning. Some of the bookies are offering odds of 6-4 against Brexit ever happening.
Well, who knows? Who knows? It's interesting. It's not going to happen this year, is it?
Well, no. I think May and Merkel made that quite clear yesterday.
But a lot of businesses are saying they're quite busy now. And actually, since the referendum, and I saw this during the 2010 election, that last year, businesses were so frightened of the previous Labour government. They were so frightened because they were just hanging on. No decisions were being made. They didn't know what was happening. And yet after the election, even though, things were pretty grim, it's amazing how unleashed all this action, power, investment, and that's what businesses don't like. They don't like the uncertainty. They want to know what's happening and what they've got to work with, and that's. I mean, the prospect of not having a prime minister till September was that, I think, was the most frightening thing, wasn't it? Is we're just going to be in limbo, and whatever you think, it's good. I think it's good that we've got at least got a new prime minister, and something. Actually, I don't know if anything is going to happen. It's all down to whether people think something is going to happen or not, isn't it? Sure. Because at the end of it, it's confidence that really matters. and it's amazing how fast that can disappear or come back, actually. Sadly, when I think life should be, built on something a bit more substantial, it is really down to a lot of, what people feel.
It's confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Part of it's confidence and belief. Now, just want to bring in a comment from Simon. Whilst we carry on, it is the point. It says, I take that point, Robertson, it's well made, but it's difficult to take things forward in the way you suggest when our Foreign Secretary is a proven liar. He's been sacked for it twice and taken part in debates for doing so. It's tricky. I think we would agree it's tricky. I don't think we have to agree with the total content of what was said there.
I think it brings me back to the old thing. How do you know a politician's lying?
John, how do you know a politician's lying?
Smooth.
All right, okay.
What I love, I've been a private eye subscriber for I don't know how many years, and what I love is reading what politicians say in opposition and then what they do when they're elected. And it's a bit like the camera function on your phone, isn't it? You can switch 180 degrees and point in completely the other direction. And it doesn't matter what part of the political spectrum you are. Once you're in power, it switches around, because suddenly you can't just talk about what you want to do. You've got to do things. And that's one of the reasons, actually, why I've never joined, and I don't think I'll ever join a political party, because I don't think I could be part of that machine. I want my own views and want to do what I believe in, sort of thing. However unpopular they may be.
Well, I might just say that's probably one of the most sensible things I've heard in a long time. And you're right. You're right. People are scared to say, yeah, now listen, we're Britain. We will do well out of this if we have a positive attitude and get out there. Listen, we're all self-employed. We're out doing our own thing. My little pest control business is growing. I'm employing a couple of people. If other people employ a couple of people, and let me tell you, Aberdeen, I live in Aberdeen. Do you know how many people have lost their jobs in Aberdeen? Do you know, Robert? 70,000. The knock-on effect of the oil in Aberdeen. But what have I seen in Aberdeen? I've never seen so many people becoming self-employed. When I go to my BNI network on a Wednesday morning, it's absolutely packed. And the two guys that bought that BNI over have now grown it at one stage to be the top area in Britain. And that's a place that's losing £70,000. So what they're looking at new things. They're taking technology and they're using it in business. And I had a meeting yesterday. We're going to be doing talks for small business with two guys. And I said, you've got to look out with Aberdeen now to try and get, it's all been oil related. So what happens when things get tough is Norman Cabot, Mr. Cabot, that was a guy I followed when I was younger. What did he say? Get on your bike to go out there and get the work. Spread your wings. Hey, I'm learning German. And a lot of people are learning German here as students because if they need to go, they're going to Germany. This is what I found out from the German teacher. I'm using it for leisure. But yeah, you're right. Let's have some positive attitude out there. We've done it. What did we do before we went into the European Union? What did we do before? We built our country back up. And that's what I think.
Well, what's interesting in the West Country, yeah, I mean, I take a point with all of that. What's interesting in the West Country, and I'm a blow-in, actually. You know, I blew in like so many others. We think they're coming down for a lovely life, it's possibly one of the toughest places to run a business. I mean, in Ilfracombe, I'm 50 miles from the M5. 60 odd miles from Exeter Airport. You know, to go to a meeting in Exeter, it's getting on for 2 hours journey. To go to Plymouth, it's 2.5 hours. So you don't just pop down the road to meet somebody. Even, you know, Barnstaple, the next big town, is 15 miles away. So and one of the things I find interesting, I was born in Hounslow, in the London Borough of Hounslow, which has about 260,000 people in something like 22 square miles. And North Devon and Torridge has about 166,000 people. I think it's in about a combined area of 800 square miles. So, you know, it's incredibly tough area to do businesses. But what amazes me is how people not only just run businesses, but how enthusiastic people are about starting businesses. Mm-hmm. And that spirit of enterprise is absolutely amazing. I'm constantly intrigued as to why people do it, because to be quite honest, for me at the moment, it'd be much easier to go back to Windsor where I was and have, you know, the Thames Valley and all those lovely technology companies and people on my doorstep, because, you know, it's much easier when you've got customers all around you. And one of the things about what you were saying about Aberdeen is, you know, there's talk about London and the powerhouse of the North and all that sort of thing. But actually, the West Country has been pretty much ignored by government for years. You know, our transport is absolutely appalling. The M5 is pretty much the only route down here. Okay, we've got the A303, but, you know, Stonehenge and everything in the summer is a nightmare. We've got a company in Ilfracombe. It's actually a big global company that makes all sorts of filters and things for motor cars and things. And they have lorries which go down the A361 and the M5, and they get fined. It's all last minute production. Mm-hmm. So it's manufactured onto a lorry, off onto a plane somewhere, and, you know, it's delivered just in time. But if the M5's closed, they will get penalised hundreds of thousands of dollars for that consignment being delayed. Mm. So, you know, again, with the rail network, we've only got one railway. You know, people are talking about HS2 and what have you. Yeah, put it in the West Country. We'll have it, please.
You can have it. We don't want it here.
Well, we want a better rail network, really. I think that's the whole point, isn't it? Yeah. But against all this, and also Devon is 2 counties, because you've got the prosperous south, Exeter and Plymouth and that sort of area, mm-hmm. and Sidmouth and Torbay and, you know, people like those sort of areas. And the north is much more sparse. In fact, Torridge is one of the poorest areas in the country. And so we feel completely forgotten sometimes, and we become a bit, you know, we become quite radical, shouting for our existence and everything. But amidst all this, it just does amaze me how people run businesses and get on with it, because whatever is thrown at them, foot and mouth, I don't know, you know, what have you, they pick themselves up and they carry on. And I just find that amazing.
Right. Okay. That was informative and passionate, and people are Southwest. But
North Devon salesman.
Yeah, come to North Devon. The ice cream's brilliant as well.
Now, you mentioned your camera on your phone earlier.
Yeah.
Is that what you're using for your daily pics? I follow you. You know, your daily pics you post on Facebook.
Yeah, I've got.
It's just it's your iPhone. I just wondered,
which I use for a lot of them, but I also I've got a DSLR, but I also got a little Canon compact camera, which I generally take around with me, because I found that, you know, when I got fed up and stopped taking the camera, then I'd find the flipping photo of the
you really wanted.
But I've always got something on me, much to my wife's disgust. Can't you put that away, she says, and just enjoy the view.
Wonderful. For those who haven't seen them, Robert posts daily photos from North Devon, and they're quite interesting, especially that funny woman that you've got on the end of the pier at Ilfracombe.
I'm trying to follow Robert just now from here. I don't see a way of doing that.
I don't think it's as integrated with any of the things like Like,
Well,
if you go into the viewers tab, you can see the viewers tab top right where it says 9 viewers 9.
Yeah.
On the top right hand side, viewers 9. If you scroll down till you get to Robert, it should appear in there, and then just click on the photo.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you can follow.
In Twitter, yeah.
I literally just joined last night and haven't filled in my profile yet, but I must say, I think it's pretty impressive. Firetalk, it's good quality on my screen, and I'm getting good sound and everything. So I'm really impressed. On the phone, it comes up really clear, but there's no camera to join in, which is
oh right, okay.
To come and install Chrome.
After all that talk, I'm just thinking, I've been self-employed basically since about 1986. And maybe I'm stuck in my ways, but I do see what's happening out there, and I've always made my own way in life, and some of I lost everything, and I was down in London, and I had to go and I worked in the roads, and I came back again and built it up. So, but I'm compassionate, and people say, "Oh, your workers, I bet you pay them." I said, "Yeah, I don't pay them minimum wage. I give them more than minimum wage, and I look after my workforce." And people say about employment rights and things like that. We're not all bad employers. I being in it. In fact, Robert, North Devon, I remember tripping across Dartmoor, soaked to the skin, because I was stationed in Bovington in Dorset. And there's one thing you learn as a soldier: don't ask someone to do something that you're not prepared to do yourself. And I've always had that. And sometimes I'll go out with the guys and do the job with them. But if you do that, you're not doing other things. So every so often, so we're not all big bad employers that take advantage of people, but although there are some there, so you do need your employment rights. And that's how I just like my guys to work as a team. I might come across sometimes as right-ring, but just to let you know out there, I'm a wee bit compassionate. Not a lot. But yeah.
Can I change the topic?
Yeah, what's the topic?
We all think of Big Sam for England.
Say again? All right.
What do we all think of Big Sam for England? It doesn't worry you, Peter, it being north of the border.
Yes, it does, because when England take on Scotland, and well, I've followed Sir Allardyce since his days at Bolton. And he worked wonders there, and he's done a good job wherever he's been. There is a difference between club and England, obviously, and we all seem to do well in the qualifying and get stuffed when we get to the competition itself. Whether Sam's got the magic to get us past the quarterfinals, we'll have to wait and see. But he's got a job to do, and he'll do it. What do you think, John?
I feel sorry for Sunderland.
Oh.
I really thought Sunderland had a ray of hope going forward, that they had a man who meant this year they wouldn't be fighting at the bottom of the table again. So I feel sorry for Sunderland and its fans.
Well,
as to him being England manager, fantastic, because I actually think he's a real man motivator who uses the latest technology in everything he does.
I mean, he won the battle for Sunderland, didn't he, in keeping them up in the Premiership. So he did his job. But who knows what he could have gone on to. I mean, just look at Leicester. But for England, I think he's the right man at the right time. He reminds me a bit of Clough, who never got...
Now then, young man. Now then, young man.
Thank you for the impression, John. Pretty close, actually.
Yes. I'm actually quite a fan of Clough. I have three books on him, so I quite like Clough. And there's some great YouTube videos of Mr. Clough and his motivation. Yeah,
fantastic guy. Yeah, so hopefully we cleared that up for Kevin, that Big Sam is the next England manager, football manager, soccer, and it should be announced later today, but you heard it first on Facebook yesterday when John posted it.
I posted a link for the BBC.
It was within a minute of BBC saying it. I mean, I was quite impressed. Yeah. Okay, so we've talked football.
I happened to see it come up as breaking news, and that I thought, wow, so that's what motivated me to post it.
Okay. Right now,
any other exciting news from anybody else?
Yes.
Who's following Pokemons? Is there any Pokemon going?
I don't know if you know this, but in my industry, or in the whole of Scotland now, did you know that we need a license to have an air rifle now?
It's the same in England.
No. You need in Scotland, you need to have an air rifle license.
Okay, it's similar but slightly different. You now have to be a member of a club. It's only recent legislation, but my son is into air rifles.
I don't think you're right there, because we've all got air rifles up here just now in my business, and it's a nightmare because I've phoned a couple of places police-wise, and nobody can give me the answer I want. So in Scotland, because a kid got fired in the eye or something like that in the past, so everybody that has an air gun is either to hand it in or apply for a license, and you'll only get a license if you need it, like with pest controllers. But it's a bit of a nightmare because they can't give me the answers I want. Do I apply as a company? Do I apply as individuals? So it's only in Scotland. It's not in England for air rifles. And so when that came out, and they've asked us to apply, and as usual, no one has a clue when you ask them questions. It'll probably come in England one day as well, but no, at the moment it's just coming in Scotland. I see John working away there. Look, he's right. But the ones that are exempt in Scotland are people that have air rifle clubs. They're exempt. But if you come from England up to Scotland to do some air rifle shooting or somewhere, you've got to have a license to come up. Did you know that? Because there's a lot of we get a lot of problems with people with the air rifles, and that's how. Say again?
I can clarify the UK rules.
Right.
If it's £6 per square foot pressure, you do not need a license.
That's
but
correct.
above £6 per square foot pressure, you do need a license in the
That's
UK.
correct. So most guns are under 12 foot-pounds. So, and then it's really regarded as a firearm. And you can get an air rifle and you can put it above 12 foot-pounds, but then you need to get a license for it. So that's the situation just now. Nightmare.
Well,
It's
also nightmare in America, gun-wise, because they don't have. Well, they do have rules, but anybody can have a gun, can't they?
Unless you're a criminal, but you get a gun. Either way, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll have a look at that. So if I was in America,
for the license as well, Peter.
pardon?
£72 for the license.
£72 per head. So everybody that's got a license is £72 per head. It's not about the money. It's about controlling the air guns, which is fair enough. But as usual, I've just got an email in to get in contact with a guy that's quite an authority, a police guy who's dealing with it. But it's a nightmare. And they're going to be inundated and, nightmare. Thanks for that, Kevin. I'll have a look at that later. No, but if I was in America, right, I don't know about you, but I would carry a sidearm. Because if anybody come up to me and said, I want your money, I said, well, you have this instead. What would you do, guys?
I wouldn't carry a gun, I don't think.
Robert, would you carry a gun if you was allowed a gun?
I don't think I've ever touched a gun, actually, so it'd probably be quite dangerous in my hands. I'd probably shoot myself. But I think it's a completely different way of thinking, isn't it? I mean, it's to me, it seems completely alien. I mean, the thought of actually carrying a knife is alien to me. Something that has just never occurred to me. So these sort of mindsets of weapon carrying.
I used to regularly carry a pocket knife. because I'm a gardener, and I used to steal cuttings out of people's front garden.
Come and shoot you.
In the boots, because round here, if you get stopped and you've got a knife in your pocket, you're in the big ones.
Yeah.
So, you know. Funny enough, this question of how many people do you see walking around with guns, I actually saw a gentleman with a gun last night. He was, however, in a police uniform, but he was buying his sandwiches from the local Morrisons.
Yeah.
And it was from the airport, probably, because the Morrisons is just down the road from the airport. Yeah. But
So
you don't normally see anybody on the street, even a policeman with a gun. Certainly in Birmingham, you don't.
Well, we used to live in Windsor. We used to, where we lived, there was an old chap who was a bit of a rogue, something out of Heartbeat, really, like. And he had an old car, and he used to have his bags with his guns in, and he used to go shooting pests on the royal estates, actually, around Windsor. And, you know, he'd knock on the door and give us a couple of pheasants and what have you. And that just seemed really natural, really, because, you know, part of country life, so, and that's the way it is. But it's, yeah, I think an interesting one.
Now, what is really common around here are tasers.
Right.
People carrying tasers.
Almost all policemen carry a taser in the West Midlands now.
I think we've reached the stage in society. We're very proud that our policemen didn't carry weapons. Yeah. But they're under so much threat walking down the street now. Their lives are in danger, and I really think it's time for them to carry a sidearm to protect themselves in the current situation. I always remember when we served in Belfast, a policeman came into our barracks, and he was about the only one I ever met during the Troubles. He didn't carry a gun. That policeman walked the streets without a gun. What a brave man. What a brave man. Because they've already, these terrorists have already said that they were going to go out and try and get a policeman to cut his head off. That's been said. Now, if I was a policeman, I would rather carry that gun to put a stop to them cutting my head off. I don't know about you. And also to protect the public. Look how quick that, not quick enough, but the French, they killed that guy in that lorry. If they had no weapons, as a friend of mine who's just left the police, he says, we would have had to go back to the police station, sign out a gun, and then go back to try and get him.
And similarly with the train event yes. in Germany, where, you know, how many more people would have been hacked about if the policeman didn't have a gun?
Absolutely.
But I'm still quite proud of the fact that we don't have the average police carrying a gun.
The British cop are a bit, I'm afraid, I think policing has changed in Britain now, and they're having to dread. I mean, they used to walk down the street in their nice uniforms and pressed trousers and white shirt and black tie. But those days are gone, I'm afraid. We're a changed society. No, Kevin, I know what you're saying. It'd be great to have all this self-defense, but it just needs one knife wound in your thigh or something to kill you. Yeah. Right.
I think I tend to agree with Kevin, actually. I think it would escalate gun ownership generally and create more violence. It's a really difficult question, because I understand when there are these terrorist attacks, they need to move fast and what have you. But I'm incredibly proud of the police that they are not armed in this country. And, you know, we have over the years, we've had some pretty terrible riots and what have you and incidents. But it amazes me when you look around the world when there are disturbances. You know, I'm always amazed that how few people actually die when we have disturbances over here. You know, I know the weather's quite good at putting off revolution in this country, because nobody wants to when it's raining. But on the whole, the level of violence, when you look in some countries, is actually quite low. And I think if we had guns more readily available, I think that is a definite thing that happened if you arm every policeman. I think the violence will increase. But having said that, we've got to support the police in the fight against terrorism or what have you. So and they need. It seems that every time they shoot somebody, there is this almost consideration in the media that they've assassinated somebody. And as I read something a little while ago, I think that a lot of the armed police are leaving because it is so difficult for them, and they get accused of whatever, just trying to do their job. So maybe that's got to be cleared up, and the way they operate has got to be, there's got to be more support for them. And obviously the processes have got to be rigorous so that they do act as they should do.
But there's also been an uptake of police wanting to be armed, going in for training now again, who'd actually give up their licence and they're wanting it back because of the terrorism aspect. Because they said, we don't want to walk down the street and somebody coming out with a gun or something like that. What have we got? Pepper spray? Well, a little truncheon? Keep back, man. I know it's a difficult situation. We don't want to get into that. But we're going to have to wait. We'll look at it. Because even an armed response unit isn't there within minutes. It's not used for the poor copper that's going to get maybe 3 people surrounding him or whatever, threatening his life, waiting for the armed response, whatever, Difficult one.
I mean, a lot of it is down to our culture, isn't it? For hundreds of years, we have been in a situation where we've respected authority.
Yeah.
And that's the key to it. I mean, we know what the limits are. And whilst there is always going to be a criminal element, the general populace are law-abiding citizens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I've looked at some of the YouTube recently with the policemen shooting the black people, which is absolutely terrible the way they handled it. In fact, they've got policemen coming over here from America seeing how we handle people like that. But so I think America's a different situation. It's just that.
Did you see on BBC Two recently, there was a video of London Metropolitan Policeman blocking in a man who was mentally disturbed.
Yeah.
And it was being shown to 2 policemen from Philadelphia. And they said, what? We'd have shot him by now.
That's right. That's right. And that's why they're coming over to training to see about containing it rather than... I think, to be honest, I think it's more for terrorism and they need their guns or somebody coming at them,
I think also what is not appreciated sometimes is, there's obviously stories about police brutality and various cultures of things in the police where things have gone wrong. But generally, the police in this country are very, very tolerant when you consider what they have to put up with. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that is often appreciated enough. How many of us would actually, if we had a gun, would possibly snap and shoot back?
And I'd also like to say some of them have got fantastic humour as well.
Yeah.
Last year, my wife discovered a shell down at our allotments. And I'm not talking a little shell, I'm talking a shell, a good 14, 15 inches long.
Mm-hmm.
And they evacuated the area. Turns out that it was dead. Yeah, they managed to. It was on a plot that had been abandoned, and what we do is we all sort of help to tidy them up in the hope that we'll get someone else take the plot over. And Celia had found this shell on the plot. Eventually the police managed to get hold of the man who used to own the plot, and he said, "Oh, it's been deactivated. It's from when I was in the Royal Navy." But the copper's there, and he's holding it, and he's smiling to bits, and he's chuffed to be photoed and everything, and have a good laugh with everybody that had been, you know, down the allotments and part of it. And then that photo went onto Facebook and onto Twitter and then into the local press. But they had great sense of humour about it. But they did go around and give him a face-to-face bollocking afterwards.
I've got something to tell you, and I'm wanting your advice on this. I'm thinking,
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen the Ancestry Facebook video that comes up about people finding out where they're from. Have you seen it?
Yep.
Right. So I've actually, what it is, Robert, they've got a group of people in and they get them to put away their spit and they say it's their DNA, and you've got guys that hate Germans. Turns out he's part German.
Yeah.
Person, and or Islamic, but he says, I don't really like people from Islam and don't like Jews. And the guys, and you see him going when he gets you, you're telling me I'm an Islamic Jew? And and even in the room, they say to one girl, do you realise your cousin is in this room with you? Didn't even know. So I've decided I'm going to do this. And when it comes in, I was thinking of doing it on Facebook Live. What do you think of that?
Letter.
Exactly. Not open it. I would go on Facebook Live and I would build up and say, now, because Robert, I actually do a bit of Louis Walsh stand-in, and I try to trace my family, and I think that there's a high probability there's a lot of Irish in me, I would think. And I think I'm going to do it live and open it up live in front of everybody and see where
Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah. But I've always wanted to know, because my grandmother wouldn't tell me anything about my grandfather, who was the Stuart. But my mother's side is Roberton without the S. And there's only 5 in Aberdeen, and they're all my relatives apart from 1. And the name comes from Northern Ireland. So it's quite interesting to see where I think I go back as far as Londonderry, what I try to trace. So I'm quite fascinated about it and see where I come from. I'm sure there's Irish in me. Sure. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, on the racial topic, we have a new chancellor of the Birmingham City University.
Right.
A famous man from the West Midlands. Anybody like to guess who?
A famous man.
A Sir. Everyone of us knows him.
Once you tell us, we'll know.
He played a chef on TV once.
Played a chef.
Opportunity knocked for him.
No. I mean, I'm hopeless at this clues thing.
Lenny Henry. He's the
right.
of Birmingham City University.
Now, if you said a guy who gets a good night's sleep, I'd have guessed it straight away.
Yeah. You're a premier in that, aren't you? I could have said the colour purple. That's purple for...
Yeah.
No, that's local news. That's cheered quite a few people up, because he is, although he's from the Black Country, he's still a Birmingham lovely, shall we say. He has a star on our main street.
See all these famous people that go into politics and things. So do you not think after a while the people that maybe really like them, say for instance you liked somebody and you say, oh, he's a great laughing, and all of a sudden he becomes a Conservative MP. Do you not think it's a bad move for them? Or a Labour MP or whatever, you know?
It depends what they did before they became famous. If they had skills.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Ricky. If they had skills before they became MPs, then before they became famous, then they could use them when they're MPs.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it when actors and people mix it with when they're actually performing, and then go into some rant or something on stage. I think that's wrong, because I think the whole thing about art is a piece of art or a play or something. You want to do that, and suddenly you're taking it over, and I don't like that. I like I don't mind them doing it outside their artistic activities, but
you see, I got into.
Is politics in your future, Robert? I mean, lots of MPs were business journalists prior to becoming MPs.
My wife has threatened me, so I couldn't become a councillor if I wanted to. There are some times when I have almost, where I was in fact invited to become stand for councillor, and I don't think I can actually stand it. I don't really. I don't like the politics thing with the small p. Actually, this saying one thing to one person and then going to somebody else and saying something else. Going back to I think what Simon said earlier on. Do you know any politicians who are liars? I mean, I think lying comes with the job actually in many ways.
The trouble I see with people that like the Labour, is it Gloria? I can't pronounce her name just now, but she worked for GMT or Morning TV, and then now she's a Labour MP. Yeah, Gloria, whatever. Nice woman. Now the thing is, she's now made her allegiance. She's made her allegiance to the Labour Party. How could she ever come out and really go back into journalism? Because everybody knows what her views are now, and you would be the same. I think it would be suicide in that sort of way for somebody. Look at Boris Johnson. Look what's happened to him just now. But when you were a journalist, you done this and you said that. And I think it's a bad move for them,
I think that's one of the things I've been thinking a lot about at the moment is it's like people putting symbols on their avatars, on their profiles. And in fact, I got a blog in my head which I've been meaning to sit down and write for some while. I connect with people because they are people, and going back to the days of the academy, being an open and all this sort of thing, and just seeing what happens. And people seem to become icons for a group, a cause, or something, and their personalities, especially when you've got a big argument like the referendum, their personality almost disappears as they just argue they throw out these views and things, which aren't views actually. I want to see more people because, and I know how it happens. You get really worked up about topics and things, but and it's very easy to taunt people. It's the easiest thing in the world, but actually that doesn't solve anything. And so I think it's a challenge for us all, really. I found it very challenging because I've not wanted to go down to that level, actually, because once again, I think, in the end, a lot of people talk, and I think a few people actually do things, and I actually much prefer to do things. And I've got involved in stuff in the community here with organisations and things. I have to say, it gets me down. The bureaucracy, the petty politics, the barriers to actually getting anything done, when you can clearly see what you could do, but actually what you have to, or the hoops you have to jump through to get anything moving, are incredible. And I don't think that's why I could become a councillor or a politician.
It's the same.
Dictator, maybe.
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name, but there's an MP, a Scottish MP, who was all, before he was an MP, he was all for keeping the nuclear deterrent, all for it, really big time. Now you notice that every Scottish MP in Parliament said no to the nuclear deterrent, yeah? And that guy was so passionate about it before, and he's getting such a hard time because Nicola Sturgeon or someone has told him, this is the way you will vote. And that's what's happened. And if you look it up on the internet, you'll see it. He's getting such a hard time.
But not having the nuclear deterrent is bad for Scotland from a jobs viewpoint, if nothing else.
Well, I know, but I mean, somebody from Northern Ireland stood up and said, hey, listen, if Scotland doesn't want it, take it over to us. We'll take it. So there's that position. There's a lot of people depend on their jobs in that part of Scotland. So it's really a difficult time, you know. And as we keep saying, as I said,
in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah, and so every time, so Nicola Sturgeon's also getting a hard time at the moment. If you, for the things you look beyond what you see headlines, she's getting such a hard time from the loyalists and saying, why not get on with the job of running Scotland rather than thinking about independence all the time? So that's happening as well.
Indeed.
You know?
And on that note, why not get on with the job? We've been chatting away for the last hour and a quarter.
We've got 15 minutes left then.
How long have you been recording for? Are you recording, Stephen?
It records from the beginning. It carries. There's nowhere you can. When you stop recording, you stop the show.
All right. Okay.
But it will run. It will run for 90 minutes. And
okay.
You can carry on after 90 minutes.
Or is it on for 90 minutes then stops?
Yeah, I mean the thing about the platform Firetalk is that the video that comes out of this is processed. It's taken a couple of hours, and the video quality, if you check out any of the YouTubes, is absolutely fantastic. And they've said that they can only maintain that quality if you limit everybody to 90 minutes, which is fair. I mean, if you're going on for longer than 90 minutes, then yes, you know.
How many people watch?
It definitely stops recording at 90 minutes, because when we did our test show last week, at the end, even though we'd been talking for about 110 minutes, it clearly showed that the video would only be 90 minutes long.
Yeah, which is fair. This is free. I mean, we can't argue with free.
So quick question, Robert. Robert, I've taken your name. I'll probably follow. What do you actually do for a living then, if you don't mind butting in?
Well, at this moment, I should be writing 2 pages of business news for next week's paper. So my deadline is 5 o'clock this afternoon. That's one of the things I do. But I writing,
words,
PR, yeah, anything to do with words, really. So that's what I do.
That's fine.
Yeah. But thank you very much for inviting me on. It's been absolutely delightful.
It's been delightful to chat. We used to enjoy getting together every Thursday at 10 o'clock and having a good chat and talking over events of the week.
Decide whether there's going to be a show next week or not.
Right.
Buggering off on holiday.
Yeah, I'm taking the week off. We're going national trusting throughout Wiltshire.
Just quick bit of news in, guys. Prosecutors will push to keep Oscar Pistorius in jail for longer, saying his 6-year sentence is shockingly too short. Right. Gents, I'll have to go. Nice meeting you. I'll let you carry on. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Peter. Catch you later. Bye.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
Cheers, Robert.
Cheers, Robert. Bye.
Right. Right. Okay. Now.
Dan, do you want to pop in?
Yeah.
Dan's lurking.
Okay. No, it's not. Oh, he is. Yes, sorry, he is. I'm Phil Shepherd as well. If you want to pop in for the last few minutes, gents. All right. Okay. Right. Dan was a master when it came to editing the Raw Chocolate TV episode 2. I really enjoyed watching it.
It's quite interesting. The video isn't as good now. There's 2 of us.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Do you want to join us, Phil? If you do, just press the camera bottom right. And we're just basically, we are winding things down. John wants to see what happens at 90 minutes.
Oh, well, we know. We saw that last week. It stops and we just carry on yapping.
Okay, what do you want to do next week? I mean, you've set up the show on your profile. No problems with that.
I'm going to take a holiday as well.
Right. Okay. Very good. Right.
So we need to tell everybody that there's no show next week. And I think now we've proved the show works on Firetalk.
Yeah.
We give the next one, fortnight today, a really big build-up and a real bash trying to tell them. And maybe we can use the list we've compiled, and hopefully Thrive will fix their 501 error.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, Paul, I mean, he's on holiday, so I didn't want to bother him, but what he said didn't work. So I thought, right, okay, leave him in peace and wait till he comes back.
Phil's asking how he joins in the bottom right-hand corner next to the parcel that looks like a present. It's a camera. If you click on that, it'll ask you if you want to join in, and you say yes, and Stephen or I will accept you.
And if you can't see the camera, I will click and invite you. And you've got 30 seconds just to accept. And we don't know where this is going to go. No, that's not.
It still says waiting for users to join on my side.
It says this at Slim here. Perhaps if we try a second time, wait for that to go. We're back. Right. Well, I can invite you in again. When I do that, on the URL bar top left, you'll see a green lock. If you press that, you get a drop down. Allow your camera and your mic, and that should then let you in. And then once you're in, we can talk about sorting the rest. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to press to invite you, and then you have to accept. You've got 30 seconds to accept.
Me this time?
No. Okay. Right. I'm not sure, Phil. We've had people on phone before, on the iPhone. It doesn't work every time though. Well, yeah, because I was chatting to Nance on the phone on Firetalk. That worked well. Okay. Right, we'll leave that for a moment, and we'll do a test later. Okay, so we'll go for 2 weeks' time then.
Yeah, and let's give it a bit of a fanfare. Now, before we pop off, that little exercise I did, you know, of screen grabbing all those things, showed me something. That specials attract a massive audience. The 5 o'clock specials we did.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's worth considering, say, maybe once a month or once every 6 weeks, having a 5 o'clock special for Blabbing for Britain.
I agree. We've got a different audience. Yeah. Yeah,
but also you saw in the couple of the weeks following the special, some of the people came in to the morning one that hadn't been in before in the morning, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It helped boost the morning audience.
True. Phil, if you can click on, if it's showing you a countdown, just click on it anywhere to signify that you've seen it. That doesn't seem, I'm not sure, because I'm not actually joined somebody else's chat recently. If you just press on the wait, or it should show something to allow you in.
Lost sound.
Because you've not heard a word I've said. I'm going to invite you in. This is good. I'm going to invite you in, and you're on your phone, and you should get a screen come up, and you just press that screen when you're ready. Okay, so I'm clicking now, and you should see a screen. Just click that screen. Anywhere, several places if you want, and that should allow you to join in.
Yeah, when you're inviting someone on a PC, it says accept above it in a red box.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So that's not going to work. Nope.
Perhaps we'll have to do a bit of offline, but you know what I mean. Blabbing for Britain testing.
Well, true. I mean, the thing is, you can set up when you set up an event, a free event, you can make it private.
Is there an Android client for it?
No.
Or is it browser based if you're an Android?
It works fantastically on Android browser based. Watching the show on Android tablet.
Phil's saying he wants to try one more time.
Okay, fine. Okay. Can you invite him? Just to test your powers.
I don't see any methodology.
Click on his name on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And you should get a box come up. And it should say invite guest.
Nope.
Okay. You go into the viewers.
I see Phil Shepherd, but I don't see the invite guest.
All right. Okay. Right. So I've invited you, Phil, and you should be able to get in, and we'll know momentarily. Right. Okay. Good. Nope. That was close. That was close. So we'll try one more time. We're getting closer. Right. So do whatever you did before, and no. Okay. And finally. All right. No. As soon as it goes loading, it's disappearing again. Right. Okay. We'll put up a private session, and we invite you into that at a time that we can all agree on. Right. Okay. Well, that's our first successful show on Firetalk.
Yeah.
I'll run our regular slot, that is. And just like to say thank you to everybody who's been watching.
Phil's on Android.
You can't get in from Android, Phil. At least I don't know. Are you in on the browser? Chrome browser.
I couldn't get in from Android either when I tried in the test show last week.
Okay. Yeah.
It just said, and it just wouldn't let me in.
All right. Okay. Right. We'll check on that, Phil, and we'll see what we can do. Right. Okay. So
it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Him.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.